Welcome back. I'm Robert with Health Synergy, and today I've got a question for you. Do you feel in control of your life? Or do you feel kind of out of control? Maybe overwhelmed? Do you feel like you're flying down the road of life, not in the driver's seat? Do you maybe feel overwhelmed and maybe you got too much going on and you can't get on top of things? Well, this has a huge impact on the quality of your life and the results you have, your success and your happiness. And I want to help you with that. The reason I made these training videos, I want to share a deeper understanding about our inner programming, our inner voice, and our beliefs and how they run and control your life. And why am I doing this? So you can take back control, reduce your overwhelm, and regain direction in your life. It will help you get unstuck and get to that next level so you can live up to your fuller potential. It's going to help reduce your stress, your anxiety, and boost your mood. You're going to have greater levels of success, more meaning, more direction, live more authentically, and you're going to feel happier, of course. I want to share some of the key things to watch out for so you don't make the same mistakes as me, so you make progress faster. And I'm going to tell you the things that other people don't tell you, because that's going to make a big difference. And this alone can make a huge difference in your life. I want you to become proactive and start listening and watching how your thoughts and your inner voice may be taking you out so you can correct and repair. And we're going to look at some new ways how you should be thinking about this. We're also going to explore why the researchers say that controlling your inner voice and self-talk is key and fundamental to happiness and success. And finally, we're going to look at some doable, practical brain hacks, things that you can do right now to take back control and get on the road to greater success and happiness. And by the way, I've had people say to me, well, I don't need to do this or learn this. And that's fine. But then again, you're never really going to live up to your full potential. You're always going to be stuck at a certain level. There's going to be a glass ceiling, if you will. You're not going to have the meaning, the direction, and the success that you want in your life. However, the good news is, by becoming aware of this, you're going to take back control of your life. You can live more authentically, and this leads to greater happiness, fulfillment, and peace of mind. And by the way, all the researchers and the big experts and even the therapists say this is key. So let's take a look at why this is so important and how to take back control. So let's look at this process of manifestation and how our inner world impacts the outer world. If you're a gardener, you'll get this analogy. So here's a picture of a tree, and at the top is the outer world, our fruits. That's the results we have, the physical world, the visible world, what we can actually see. And where do the fruits come from? The fruits are based on what? The quality of the roots. So the fruits are based on the quality of the inner world. That's the invisible. And remember, what we're looking at here is, what are the roots? The roots are our mental, emotional, and spiritual beliefs. And that is related to our self-talk. And ultimately, our mental, emotional, and spiritual self-talk impacts the physical, the outside world. So the invisible creates what's visible. I hope that makes sense to you. The physical world, this is what many people focus on, and they only focus on the visible world, that which they can actually see. They base everything on this, and unfortunately, they end up going through life asleep at the wheel. They don't understand what's really driving them, and they have no direction, no meaning, and no purpose. Your results are an indication of what's going on in your inner world. And it's important to understand that lack of health, lack of money, lack of happiness, and so on, that can be seen as a symptom of what's going on inside at the root level, the invisible. If you want new results or new fruits in your life, you must deal with the inner world. You have to deal with the roots first. And there's a great saying, you make your beliefs, and then your beliefs make you. The only way to permanently change the outer world, your results, is by altering and changing your inner world, your mental, emotional, and spiritual states. So what impacts our results, our reality? In this simple equation, your thoughts lead to your feelings, lead to actions, lead to results. Your thoughts and feelings are in the inner world. That's your self-talk. And your results, well, obviously, that's the outer world. What's the connection? Action is the connection between our inner world and the outer world. And maybe you can relate to this. All of us can be full of good intentions. You want to do this, you plan out, you make lists, but you don't take the action, so you don't get the result. How come? If you want new results, to change your results, you need to change your inner world and your actions. And what impacts our actions? This is things like our habits, our fears, our beliefs, the amount of self-trust we have, the amount of confidence we have, our inspiration, our energy levels. You need energy to make it happen. And our mood. And most of these are unconsciously based. And so ultimately, our thoughts and feelings come from the words we choose, the questions we ask ourselves, our expectations. What do we expect from the world? The environment we're in, our state, our interpretation of the past, and our self-talk. But ultimately, our input comes from our programming, the mental files and scripts, and our conditioning. So let's take a look at this. So out there in the world, there's a stimulus, and we see it through our eye, and we start processing it in our brain, and we process it through different mechanisms, but we're going to simplify this through files, and ultimately we get a response. And in this case, it's this person looks really stressed. And so I say, is this what's happening to you? Let's take a look at another scenario. There's another person, they see the same stimulus, they process it, different ways though, and they end up with a different response. What's the difference? Most people will say, oh, well, they just acted differently. Well, no, it's deeper than that. What's happening is at the perception level, they are going back and making their decisions based on their programming, on their blueprint, and the beliefs that they have. And it's very, very difficult to override this. But let's take a look at how we can maybe do it. So again, we have our stimulus, the brain processes it, and then we get a response. Now, when our brain processes information from events or experiences, we store it as neural pathways and memories, but let's just call them files. This will make sense in a moment. So we have relationship files, we have health files, we have money files. You also know that we have beliefs, we have expectations, we have modeling. What did our parents do? What did our teachers do? And so on. And all of these files impact us. Some are positive, some are negative, some are neutral. Some are supporting, some are non-supporting. And unfortunately, we tend to have more negative than positive files. Evolutionary, this was important for our survival. So all these files are part of our past programming and conditioning. So I think you get this. And our conditioning and our programming impacts our results. So what are the paths we can move along? So in my simple diagram here, this is now, we're here, and let's just call it our comfort zone. So we have choices. Our choices are based on our beliefs and our expectations, and those are based on our input and our programming, as we just learned. Now, here we are in the future. If we did nothing, we would stay stuck. So in the future, we're stuck and we're leading a lukewarm life. Blah, right? However, if we became more empowered and we learned new supporting beliefs that were more positive. In the future, we're living more intentionally, it's exciting, and we're happier. But am I missing something here? Yes, there's a third scenario. What happens if we continue with poor choices, non-supporting choices that are disempowering? What do we look like in the future? We're deeper into a rut and we're desperate, not where we want to be. When you arrive at the future, it's your past actions that got you there, right? So you can plan and map out those actions now so they take you to the future you dream and envision. Let's look at this. So here we are now in our comfort zone, for example. The past got us to where we're at, right? We all can agree upon this. Now, we know that our past shapes us. And remember, about our past, we didn't really have a lot of choices. We were young, there's genetics, we had lack of experience, we had a lack of and a limited understanding of the world. We were immature, we acted emotionally, we acted on gut reactions, and we had childhood programming, right? We had our beliefs and expectations, and these became our thermostat, if you will, or our blueprint. And this is how we see and how we interact with the world. Now, our programming, remember, we had no beliefs when we were first born. We had no choices. Our parents, the family, the school systems, and the surroundings put these into us. They are not our own. You have to understand that. Everything you believe, you were programmed to believe, including your opinions. Those beliefs become our story. And this is key because evolutionary, this was important for the survival of our species. So there's not that anything's wrong with this, it's just the way we're wired, if you will. And these are programming filters how we see and how we interact with the world. And it impacts what we do and what we don't do. And this is our actions that we take. And ultimately what happens, we start losing control of our life because we're running on somebody else's programming, somebody else's beliefs and values. Now, let's go to the future. This person, the smiley face doesn't look too happy, right? Well, the future will become the past. So you can plan your future, and ultimately when you get there in the future, it becomes our past, and our past shapes us. So we can choose our future. So we can decide what path moving forward do we want. And this is going to be based on our beliefs, how we think and how we see the world. Our beliefs, our actions, our behaviors. And this is based on our expectations. What are your beliefs and your expectations about the future? And then here's something. What do you want your beliefs and expectations to be? You see, you have a choice. So, how do you want to plan out your future so it shapes you in the way you want? Plan and map out your future. So here we are again in our comfort zone. That's our physical, that's the results. Your life results are based on your past actions. That's your outer world. And remember, we got to where we are in our comfort zone based on our past, on our conditioning. Your choices have shaped you, and choices are based on your mental, emotional, and spiritual states. And all this happens in our heads, right? In our self-talk, in our inner world. Our inner world impacts and leads to our outer world results. Where we are in life right now, the results we have are based on our inner world functioning. That's our beliefs, and our beliefs impact our choices, and our choices impact what we will or won't do, the actions we take or don't take, which impacts our results. If we looked at a time map, there's our past. We made decisions, and once we make those decisions, you kind of can't go back, and it leads us down a new path. So here we are right now in the middle. And moving forward in the future, we have all kinds of choices and options. What choices do you want to make? Our choices expand or restrict our future possibilities. Choices not only affect ourselves, but they also affect those around us, for good or for bad. Our choices are based and influenced by our beliefs. So here we are again. We're at a critical point and we have to make a critical decision. We have all these choices that we can make and they will lead us down many different paths. If we make the right choices, our future is expanding in a positive way. However, if we make the wrong choices, we have restricted future choices. The choices we make expand or restrict the future possibilities and decisions available to us. So we're at a critical point. So incorrect perception, and this is where beliefs come in. So incorrect beliefs often lead to choices which restrict our future decisions. So a great question you should be asking right now is, how can we get control over this? You should be asking, what impacts our beliefs, right? Other people won't tell you this, and this is something you have to watch out for. So let's take a look. It's vital to understand and recognize our beliefs and to reprogram them so they're more supporting and empowering. The quality of your thinking right now will determine how your life will be tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. So the quality of your thinking now shapes and forms your future. You build the container within which you build your future, which is your whole life. In this example, the person's stuck in a little box. So what is this container? This container is our imagination. It's our vision, our beliefs, which are regulated by our creative subconscious, both for good or bad. So how important is self-talk? Coming back to this, self-talk is critical in our personal relationships. It impacts things like our prejudices, our stereotyping, how we get along with people. It's important in mental health, and we will talk about something called stinking thinking. It's important in anger management, depression, anxiety. It's key in athletic performance, and as you know, most athletes have a sports psychologist to help them with this. It's important in psychology and something called cognitive behavioral therapy or talk therapy. It's important in religion. It's important in finances because it impacts what decisions you take, how much risk you take, and so on. Controlling self-talk is vital for a happy and successful life. Our self-talk is influenced by our beliefs. That's our internal programming. It impacts what we will or we won't do and how we act. So our self-talk defines who we are. And our beliefs are unconsciously loaded into us. They are encoded before our conscious awareness. We had little choice about the language we learned, where we went to school, where we lived, our name. And by the way, how important are names? Just a little side note. In university, I had a professor of botany actually, and what was his last name? Greenwood. Do you think that impacted his career decisions? Be interesting thought. So with our beliefs, we didn't have control. These beliefs become our story. They filter how we see others and the world. And because of this, we lose control of our life. We start running on autopilot. And the thing is, it's somebody else's ideals. So it's key for you to hack this. And you have to start questioning every belief you have. Why do you like that religious party? Why do you like that political party, etc., etc.? You get to redefine yourself. Redefine the beliefs you want and your values. You see, you get to write the chapter to the story of your new future, and then you get to live into it. So the most important brain hack, as I mentioned before, is listen. Your mind's going to play games on you, so play games with it. You have to listen, acknowledge, and control your self-talk. Listen for things like the labels you use to describe yourself, the words you're using. Are they more positive or more negative? And the definition, the words you're using to describe yourself. Are you a dummy or did you do one dumb thing? Usually you're pretty smart, but we all make mistakes, right? And listen for your inner voice, because as you learn more of this, it's going to get a little concerned that you're starting to change, and it won't want to change. So it's going to come up and it's going to say this phrase, ready? I already know that. Or the sister is, I don't need this information. When you start hearing that more and more, get excited. That means you're starting to cause things to change. The foundation's going to shift a little bit, and your subconscious is going to start letting you know. So watch for that word. And then start redirecting your mind. Direct your mind's focus. Give it new things to focus on, new direction. Tell it what words to use. Tell it, yeah, that's the way I was before, but now I'm better. I'm improving. Tell it what to look for. Tell it to look for your good points, your strengths, your positives. Tell it to start telling you you're great, you're amazing, you're fantastic, you're skillful, you're happy, you're powerful, you're confident. And through all of this, if you find that little voice says, hey, I can't make that leap, I don't think you're really there, that's called a bit of doubt, that's okay. Use the phrase, and this is very empowering, use the phrase, I'm in the process of ... changing, becoming, evolving, right? Easy to squash that. And you want to hack your future. And so what do I mean by this? Make the time to envision a very clear and powerful future that you find highly motivating and exciting, and start working towards it. And when you do this, add as much detail as you can around the future goal. Add lots of emotion to it, positive vibes, feel-good emotions, because that's going to hit you at a different level. And ask yourself, how will others see you and talk about you once you hit this goal? How are you going to feel, right? You're going to feel proud, happy, successful. What are other people going to say? Like, whoa, look at that dude, look at that dudette. Amazing what they've done, right? So you got to take a bit of time to map out some of these major steps to get there. Another major brain hack, start taking more action. We all know we need to do this. We're all full of good intention, right? So we have to act, do just a little bit more. Take 1 or 2 action steps every day. Get something done. You start moving in that direction, that causes motivation. And by the way, celebrate all wins. High fives, pat on the backs, treat yourself to something special. And also, move more. Move in the ways that make you feel good. And do this with others and socialize. And share with others what you're working on and the next level that you want to get to. You'll be surprised how they come out to help you. Tell them about the new things you're working towards, your personal growth, your development, and so on. So look, with these beliefs, well, let me put it this way. You can't control the weather, the economy, wars, the pandemic, or anything like that, right? But you can control your own health care, your mind care. We've got to change the results. We're going to change the input. So 1, protect your mind from all the negative media, the sensationalism input, the fear-mongering, the gossip, and so on. 2, feed your mind on what you want to move towards. use a vision board, use some photos or whatever. Find out what is possible for you. Become hopeful and have ideals that you want to work toward. Become inspired and then start strategizing how you can move towards that. And be very cognizant and purposeful to what you allow into your brain. Guard your mind. And 3, start living by your values. Know what your values are, review them, and live by them. That's going to do wonders for you. Number 4, write out your positive, supporting expectations of how you want life and events to unfold. Yes, things are going to unfold in a great way, right? So write that down. Visualize this happening in your mind's eye and number 5, take some sort of small action towards this goal leading to the new updated you, right? This is going to build confidence and this important thing called self-trust. Now, for me, this is really important you get this stuff. I've been there from all the struggles and trials and tribulations I had. So I want to help you get there. So in the next training video, we're going to go even deeper into this, and it's loaded with powerful techniques and strategies to help you break the chains holding you back. It's going to help you get to the next level. It's going to get you motivated and excited. And I want to be there with you. So let's do this together. So go watch the next training video now.